I want to offer my apologies right now to my Liberian African brothers and sisters. I want to offer my apologies right now to my Liberian African brothers and sisters. I was supposed to be with you for the upcoming bicentennial, 1822 to 2022, of the return to Liberia of newly freed, enslaved Africans in America who decided to quit America as soon as they got free and return home to Africa, choosing Liberia to do so. It was the first significant repatriation movement in modern history. And it was carried out by newly freed American Africans in slavery. Newly freed American Africans who decided to go back home. 1822, they arrived in Monrovia, Liberia, and decided to build up an independent nation for Africans in the diaspora who wanted to come home. So I want to salute all my Liberian Africans. I want to salute all my Liberian Africans, and I want to apologize to all of you for not being able to make it there next week. I'm sure it's going to be a magnificent bicentennial. This celebration captures the heart and the essence of what is revolutionary Pan-African nationalism. I've been to Liberia before, and I will once again be to Liberia again in the future. We had some issues with the flight ticket that could not be settled for whatever reason, and so I won't be making the journey, but I promise my Liberian Africans, I will be back in the future. 4 of the grandfathers of Pan-Africanism all went through Liberia. Henry Highland Garnett, who escaped from slavery in Maryland through FDMG Delaware, becoming one of the most revolutionary Pan-Africanists in American history. He's buried in Monrovia. John Brown Russworm from Jamaica. Garvey before Garvey, who published the first black newspaper out of New York, Freedom's Journal, with FDMG Delawarean Samuel Cornish in 1827. He's buried in Monrovia. Edward Wilmot Blyden from the Bahamas, St. Thomas, came through America, went to Liberia, became Secretary of State. Alexander Crummell, who went to the Free African School in New York with Henry Highland Garnett, became the father of black social work, the first black man to build an intellectual society for black men, gave 20 years of his life to Liberia public schools. Lost a daughter over there before coming back to help organize black men to fight for their freedom in the Civil War. So there is no Pan-Africanism without Liberia. There is no Pan-Africanism without Liberia. And due to the unfortunate, disappointing decision of the president of Ghana, shout out to all my Ghanaian Africans, shout out to all my Ghanaian brothers and sisters, but due to the disappointing decision of the president of Ghana to refuse entry to diasporan Africans to Ghana who did not take the white power structure's syrup, the president of Ghana has refused to allow Africans from the diaspora to come home to Ghana without the COVID vaccination. That was one of the worst decisions in the history of Pan-Africanism. So that means that the hub of Pan-Africanism has to go back from Ghana to Liberia. The hub of Pan-Africanism, it's been with Ghana since the days of Garveyite and Nkrumah. It's been with Ghana since the days of Garveyite and Nkrumah, but due to this ridiculous decision by the president of Ghana, who won't let us come home without a jab from Joe Biden, The president of Ghana will not let us come home unless we have a jab from Joe Biden. I said the president of Ghana will not let Africans from the diaspora go home unless we have a jab from Joe Biden. And because of that poor decision on behalf of Ghana's president, no disrespect to my Ghanaian Africans, no disrespect to my Ghanaian Africans, but because of that decision by the president of Ghana, we have to look at making Liberia once again the heart and soul of Pan-Africanism like it was. As it was before, so shall it be in the end. As it was before, so shall it be in the end. I want Africans to understand those words. When I say, as it was before, so shall it be in the end, I'm telling you that we are going to return to our greatness as a people. We have a divine destiny to reclaim our glory. But I want to be clear, brothers and sisters. I want to be clear. We will not reclaim our glory without working for that glory. We will not reclaim our glory unless we work for the glory. Religion has made us lazy. Religion has made us feel like we can sit back, click the remote control, and Almighty God is going to do the work for black people. And I'm here to tell you, if you believe that, if you believe that you can just kick back and waste all your money on junk and keep voting for the Democrats and do nothing about all the young men who are terrorizing our mothers and children in the community, indiscriminate murders of black by black. If you think you can just sit back, do nothing, and God is going to fix your problems for you, you have another thing coming. See, the reason our religion is so passive, black people belong to politically passive religions. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The American African's religious culture is extremely docile and passive. The American African's religious culture is extremely docile and passive. It don't matter if you Muslim. It don't matter if you Christian. It don't matter if you Jehovah's Witness. It don't matter if you African traditionalist. American African religion is extremely docile. In fact, global African religion is extremely docile. Do you want to know why? Because in slavery, all you could do was pray. You weren't free to do anything else. In slavery, all you could do was pray. You wasn't free to do anything else. So when you became freed, the incarcerated consciousness followed you into freedom, and the same incarcerated consciousness that infected your religious behavior during slavery continues to affect your religious behavior 155 years after slavery. You've heard me say this before. You can take the slave out of slavery, but only the slave can take the slavery out of himself. You can take the slave out of slavery, but only the slave can take the slavery out of himself.